Welcome to the Artist Index. I'm Scott Bishop, your host for this episode. I'm a New Bedford-based singer, songwriter, and sound sculptor making music under the name Spechts. I also present the live concert series, Unexpected Music, which features South Coast musicians performing in non-traditional performing spaces around New Bedford. The In Focus podcasts are generously sponsored in part by Heavenly Spirits Importers and funded in part with grants from the New Bedford Cultural Council and the Fairhaven Cultural Council, local agency supported by the Mass Cultural Council, a state agency. I'd like to invite our guests to introduce themselves, spell their names, and talk a little bit about what they do.
Hi, my name is Neenah Cruz, Neenah I am the owner of the New Bedford Performing Arts Center. We are a dance, theater, and music facility. We focus with children from the age of 3 all the way into adult. We offer dance classes, theater classes, acting classes, vocal, voice lessons. So pretty much we do it all. I have been a dancer and performer since the age of 2. I grew up in New Bedford, Massachusetts. I graduated from New Bedford High School, and then I went on to focus on my career in New York and then in Atlanta for some time. And when I felt that I wanted to open a space of my own, I felt that I wanted to work within my community and where I grew up. I felt like there was a need for the youth in this area. And so I decided to move back to New Bedford. And so here we are, we're in our 3rd season. We opened right before COVID, we opened. So it was a process with all of that, but we made it and we're still here.
And thriving, I hope, because I see how many kids come and go because my youngest daughter is in classes with you as well. So it's great to see that space fill up.
Yes, definitely. And she's doing amazing. I told her that last time, so.
Can't say it enough, can you? And Crystal?
And my name is Crystal Resendiz, Krystal, Resendiz, Resendes. I am the office manager at the New Bedford Performing Arts Center. We actually do a lot more. We braid hair, we feed the kids, we do a lot more than just managing the office around here. But I actually grew up in New Bedford, Mass. I lived in a group home here for quite some time and actually looked for a lot of after school activities and things that I could participate in to navigate my future in a positive way. And there were a lot of programs, but they were also very high cost. They really didn't gear to kids in programs and different things like that. When I met Neenah and I moved back to New Bedford, I felt just so drawn to everything she had going here, her ideas, her thoughts, her mission. She really wants to help the kids in this community. She wants to guide them. She wants to give them an opportunity to strive and thrive in an amazing place here. We build community through the girls. We really make sure the way they speak to each other, the way they work together, that we really are building that sense of community and family.
And boys.
And boys. I mean, there's actually a page on your website, Boys Dance 2. And I get the impression like, you have many more girls in your program than boys. What goes into recruiting boys for the program? What are the challenges in doing that?
So a lot of times when people think of like dance and theater specifically, it is hard to enroll boys. A lot of the times it can be like dads and they want the boys to play sports and they see dancing as like ballet but we offer so much to the boys because the males or boys they're a part of our youth community, so we don't want to gear only towards girls. We try to make sure our classes are specific to what they want. There's options for boys to do all boy classes, but there's also options for boys to do co-ed classes. We have male teachers, they focus on hip hop, they focus on breakdancing, they focus on tumbling and flipping. So we take them out into the community and they're able to join breakdancing battles or just overall hip hop battles and be a part of that community. And it is always a challenge to kind of talk to, so I just say more towards dads, and just explain to them, hey, we have something going here, and you don't have to be worried about what you may be worried about. We have options for everyone, whatever is comfortable to you as their parent and whatever you're looking for specifically for your child. We try to provide all of those types of options and opportunities. And we have a growing boys program. We definitely have much more girls, but I'd say right now we're looking at around like 20 boys. So that's a great number for a dance studio or anything, because sometimes studios are lucky to see one or two. So I feel like our programs are suitable for the boys, and they're very happy. They're competitive. Our boys are, competing in competitions and going out into the community and battling. So it's been awesome. We have open enrollment and we offer a free 2-week trial where if parents want to just try it without having to put any type of commitment or fees down, they're able to do that. So yeah, we try and just bring you in and make you feel comfortable and let you see what we have going on and what we're doing and go from there.
Yeah, I mean, I think what's interesting is that, dance does tend to get gendered. As a society, we gender it. But, it can be competitive. It's also innately athletic. Like, you have to have physical skills or develop physical skills in order to do dance. And I think that's something that kind of gets swept under the rug a bit as we look at dance. Like, we think of it as artistic expression, don't realize the degree of physical training and athleticism that has to go into dance in order for you to actually get that to that stage of expressing yourself artistically.
Correct. Yeah. And we're actually huge on that. Just huge on work ethic, huge on building their stamina, building muscle. We're constantly conditioning the kids with the types of classes that they do. It is extremely athletic. And sometimes I feel like dance is overlooked and it's not looked at as a sport. But if you were to come in and take a class or just even watch a class, you will see everything that goes into it. And, these kids are working their butts off.
I mean, just go to Third Eye Unlimited every year, or, you've had performances. I think you were at Buy Black NB in December at the Whaley Museum. You performed during 20 MI2 in the summer. Plus, also you put on shows. I think, that's an opportunity for people to see that physicality in action.
Definitely. But even then, I feel like they get to see the finished product.
Right.
They get to see the finished product. They get to see what is put together, but the process of putting that together. And, when it comes to if they're doing skills or they're tumbling, like the process of the training that goes into being able to do those skills or, whatever it is, it's really intense. And I think that's really what people don't see.
Yeah. And I'd like to talk about that because, you don't just have the classes, you have performances. What goes into developing performances with such a large student body and, diverse approaches to dance?
Right. So first off, we have a team. So we select a team that can basically go for performances, a team that can go for competitions. We select that team and then we require a lot out of them, again, because we want to build that work ethic, again, because we understand that, maybe coming to class once a week is not going to get us the results that we're looking for. So our kids are training, our kids that are on the team are training weekly, I'd say anywhere from 4 to 6 days a week. They're in the studio and they're training. They take all genres. Okay, so they're required to do their training of ballet, tap, jazz, hip hop, acro. But then we also require them to go into theater classes because as an entertainer, you are, going out into, you have an audience and you're working on entertaining them. You need facial expressions, you need character. So there's the requirement of them training in all of these classes throughout the week. And then we focus one day a week towards choreography and working on performance pieces.
So an incredible amount of work and coordination goes into it. Crystal, I wanted to ask, in terms of all these moving parts, where do you come into play as the office manager?
I work on securing locations for her, reaching out to people in the community, really trying to get our kids out there. I think it's important for them, building their confidence and actually performing in their community. I think it's incredible when we go to these competitions and our kids perform live in front of audiences. It builds their confidence. The parents love it. We get some wonderful pictures, but nothing means more to us than actually bringing our kids right in our own backyard, walking down to Court Street, having them perform there, having them meet people in their community, having them talk to other kids, having them include other kids. It's so important for them to understand that they are now role models in the community. Other kids look at them and say, wow, like this is incredible. I want to do that. I want our kids to be able to go out, talk to these little kids, be able to engage with them, be able to build that unity really through our community.
Go ahead, Neenah.
I was just going to go off of Crystal's response because I don't think that anyone understands exactly how much work Crystal puts in. And so, yes, she's the office manager. Yes, she helps work with enrollment. Yes, she helps answer parent questions. Parents are constantly messaging her throughout the day, and I thank goodness for her and her help. But, Crystal is, I couldn't ask for a better assistant. She plays the role of an assistant and office manager. She also has a child involved in our competitive program. So she also is able to see everything from a parent's perspective. But she is constantly, as the kids are coming in and out of here throughout the week, she's in the waiting room. She's making sure they're okay. She's feeding them when they're hungry. She's getting them water if they didn't bring one. She's engaging with the parents in the waiting room to make sure that this feels like a family environment. This feels like, whether you're a recreational student or you're a competitive student, you come in here and you feel accepted, and she's just making sure that everyone is comfortable, and the kids love her. The kids love her. The kids know if they don't have food or they don't have water, they're going to Miss Crystal to see if she has it. And when it comes to even on days where we have performances or competition, she's packing extra sandwiches. She's packing extra clothing in case anyone forgets anything. So she just is overall, like, she plays such a big role in our success. And, she wears all hats. And so I'm extremely thankful for her in that aspect.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because office manager is one of those vague terms and so many things come under your umbrella, Crystal, because obviously there's the business aspect as well, which I'd like to talk about, because, how hard is it to launch an arts-based enterprise as a business and keep it running, especially when you had the pandemic to deal with just a few months after you opened?
Really difficult. Unfortunately, a lot of parents are still just worried with sicknesses and different things like that. We try to make that our number one priority. We still have our kids using sanitizer. We still have some kids that are masking. We're still trying to find outdoor activities and outdoor locations we can perform. We're really trying to adapt to it all.
I want to talk a bit also about something that came up a few minutes ago, which is the sense of rapport among students. I remember really picking up on that the first time I brought my daughter, because, she was in a more advanced group. I don't remember if it was Monday or Thursday night, but how welcoming and how together the kids in that class were. How hard is it to build rapport in that environment, or does it just kind of happen naturally?
I think I wouldn't say it's always natural, but I think the kids latch on to the type of environment that we provide. So when the way we teach, the way we're running a classroom, it just will scream like community, right? So like you're in here and we're helping the kids engage with each other, whether we're doing activities or whatever it is, we're bringing them together where respect is necessary. We're bringing them together where teamwork is necessary. We're bringing them together where, their work ethic and them pushing each other and encouraging each other is necessary. And so then it becomes natural to them. Like, this is how we do things. Like, this is, what's right. And us as adults, we try to make sure that we're having those conversations with the kids, just to make sure that they understand why we set the bar here, or would they understand why our expectations are what they are. They understand what it means to be a community or be a family. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes our competitive kids, like I said, they can be here anytime from 4 to 6 days a week. But our recreational students may only take one class and they may only be here once a week. But I try to make sure that in the classroom, we're making sure, hey, you make sure that everyone feels included. You make sure that, you talk to everyone, you engage with everyone, and you make everyone feel comfortable. So we really just try to teach them that respect, those morals and those values that will ultimately carry on with them throughout life.
I think what's powerful about it is that really most of it seems to be that you're modeling it and the other instructors model it. And then that trickles down to your more experienced students and everybody picks up on it. Because if you have to say it, then you're kind of behind the 8 ball. And a lot of times kids don't want to hear, oh, I have to do that. But if they see it in action, they want to line up, they want to belong and be with everyone else. So they follow that behavior.
Definitely.
And talking about the values of the school, what do you want kids to bring out of the dance room into their daily lives? You've touched on some of it, but are there other things that you see?
Definitely. It's not all about the training. It's not all about how good of a dancer or actor you are, or any of that. I think for me, the biggest thing is being a good human, having a kind heart, and taking that into the world. I also, as a dancer growing up, I'm short, I'm stocky, I always was very muscular. And so I didn't have like the ideal dancer body type that was ideal back then. Luckily, society has opened that up now, but I really struggled to feel like I fit in when I was growing up as a dancer. So I am huge on self-esteem and confidence, and helping them understand, like, it doesn't matter what you look like, what level you're at, like, you believe in yourself, you trust in yourself, you be comfortable in your own skin. And I've had numerous times where parents have come to me and said, like, I can't even believe the confidence that my child has grown from being here. And, they're speaking up for themselves now. And, and so those are the types of things that, like, that's my ultimate goal, is to prepare them for what life has, prepare them to be confident in themselves, to be strong, to work hard, and to be good to people. That's my ultimate vision. The talent is the cherry on top. And I mean, we have absolutely amazing instructors, and it shows in the short time that our kids have been here, the training that they've received, and where they're at just as performers. That's the cherry on top, but there's so much more meaning behind what we're trying to do.
Going back to 2019, how did you build that team of instructors over the last 3 years?
So, man, I honestly don't even know. Before, when I first started, I was a brand new business. I was the only instructor here. I was teaching everything. And then which was fine. It was fine. I didn't mind teaching everything, but I just believe in having a strong team. And so that's something that I always wanted for this studio. And so when we went through COVID and I went through the E for All program and, had to figure out how to revamp what we were doing and, change up some things to make sure that we had a successful program coming back from COVID. I reached out to some of my good friends. I think it's through my experiences, it's through things that I've done, I've met the people that I've met. And so, my dance career has led me to meet certain professional dancers in which I've become really good friends with. And I guess in them believing in my vision and what I want to do here, they were willing and ready to jump on board to try and build this program. And so, I had those connections, those friendships, and once I reached out to people, they actually were willing to jump on board.
Can you talk a bit about some of the other instructors? I know a couple of them, but they might not be familiar to people listening.
Yes. So we have our acro instructor, Mr. Rodney. He has been a cheerleading coach, a gymnastics coach. He's extremely, I can't even describe Mr. Rodney. He is so committed to his work and what he does. He wants the same things for the kids that we want when it comes to them being confident, when it comes to us setting expectations for them, goals. He shows up. He shows up no matter what. When we're having a performance or we're having a competition, he's there. He's there. He doesn't ask to, well, I'm only going to be there if you pay me for my time. No, he's there. He's in full support of these kids. And he's a certified coach, tumbling coach, gymnastics coach. And I feel like those types of coaches are very hard to find. I connect with a lot of dance studios and performing arts centers all around, honestly, all around New England, all around Rhode Island, Connecticut, and people struggle to find these gymnastic coaches that not only have that commitment and they have that dedication to the students in the school, but also they know what they're doing. And Mr. Rodney, he knows how to spot kids. He knows how to build skill through safe technique. And so he is such a blessing to our team. We also have Miss Kenzie Farland, who is also so extremely dedicated. She does our theater and theater acting, voice lessons. She does all of that. She creates amazing pieces for our recitals. We're actually working on trying to build our musical theater program right now to start officially doing some shows. Some shows separate from the dance recitals. We want to have our own, plays, our own theater musicals. Shows. Yeah, our own musicals. So I'm working with her now on building that program to, begin auditioning the community, the public, and, to bring, just this theater program to what it could be. Some kids, they like to act and they like to sing, but maybe dance is not their forte. We don't want dance to be the only thing that we offer. You know what I'm saying? We want to attract the theater community and the acting community. So yeah, we're trying to build that right now. Kenzie's great. And then we have our ballet instructor, Miss Riesa. And she's done, multiple ballet programs in Virginia. She was a part of festival ballet in Providence for some time. So her training is A1, and she works. It's funny because we're so, I don't know, our personalities are very big and strong, like me, Rodney, Kenzie, but Louisa brings that delicacy. She brings that calmness to the kids. And when they're in her ballet classes, she's so calm with how she speaks to them. And it's just they latch onto that as well, so they get a little bit of everything when it comes to just what we offer. But we also have our male instructors for our boys. We have Mr. Junior, who has been huge in the community. He's done World of Dance. He's been working with this community for a long time. He's heavily involved in Third Eye. He's heavily involved in, them battling and all these events that happen within the South Coast community. And again, another dedicated teacher who really puts his all into working with our students and also helping provide opportunity for them so that they can take what they're doing in here and bring it out there, bring it somewhere else, let them know what they're able to achieve.
I wanted to ask about your involvement with E4All, because E4All has been huge in boosting creative businesses. What were they able to support you with when you worked with E4All, particularly going through COVID and developing a business model that would keep you going through the lockdown and beyond?
Yes. Really quick before we talk about E4All, I also just wanted to make sure I mentioned a new instructor that I just hired, Mr. DJ. He is a literal blessing to even have on our team because so many people want him. But he's focusing with our team with hip hop and with krump dancing. So again, bringing something different to our classrooms and what we offer. I just wanted to make sure that we mention that because the krump has been huge with the boys as well. And he's highly requested. And so he's a good friend of mine, and to have him here, this is his first season with us. He's been with us a few months, and he's worked wonders with our kids. So I just wanted to mention him before we jumped into the next subject.
And I have to ask, because I'm really old, what is krump? This is totally news to me, and it may be news to a lot of our listeners. So I think we need a definition.
Okay. I'm like, I can only visually start dancing it, but
I guess you're just going to have to Google it, go on YouTube and find some krump dance videos.
Yeah, krump dance. I mean, it is absolutely amazing. And it's so different. It's just so different than what you see. There's so much, what do you call it? What's the word I'm looking for? Passion. There's so much passion that goes into it. And it's basically a style of street dance. It got popular in the U.S. It's characterized by free, expressive, exaggerated, and highly energetic movement. It says, actually in this description, it says, dancers who started krumping saw the dance as a means for them to escape gang life, to express raw emotions in a powerful but non-violent way.
Wow.
So
I'm glad I asked now, because that's powerful.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, and like I said, like you said, if you were to YouTube it or Google it, krump dance, you would be able to see what's behind that name. Very passionate.
Got it. All right. E4All.
E4All, yes. So E4All was a saving grace for me. I am a Christian, and so I do believe in God, and I believe that people come into your life for a reason. I believe that things are put in your path for a reason. And with that being said, when I opened and then COVID happened just a few short months after, I was completely crushed. I didn't know what I was going to do. And in this time, I was going through a divorce. And this time I had just lost my brother. And so this studio was basically a light for me. It was something positive that I had been wanting for a long time, and I was trying to build. And so for COVID to come and kind of crush that, it kind of crushed me for a little bit, but I had to sit there and I had to say to myself, you can't give up. this is a setback, but you're going to figure it out. You know who you are, and you know that you've fallen before and gotten back up. And so with that, I started to say, well, how can I get more in touch with my community and basically figure out who's here, who's doing what, and who can help me, who can guide me so that my brand new business doesn't fail. And so with that, I started researching online. I started looking into community leaders to follow on Instagram and on Facebook. And it just so happened that I came across the E4All page, and I basically, read about what they do. They were opening applications for the summer cohort of 2020. And so if you're going back to COVID, this was about in March of 2020. So they had a new cohort that they were taking applications for to begin in June. And I was like, this seems perfect. This is a 12-week program that will help you learn how to build your business, learn the back end of running a business. And so I applied for E4All. I was accepted into the program, and went from there. It was an amazing program. I learned so much. They put me with mentors who were able to speak to me every week directly to me about my business, help me build what I needed to build. And they offer so much more. They offer so much more than just the 12-week program of it's like a quick crash course of owning a business or being a business owner, right? But the type of leadership that they provide, the type of support that they provide is unlike anything I've ever seen. They support you before it. They support you through it. They support you after it. They are the definition, Samia, Vaughn Marie, Samia's husband, Lonell, they have all been huge in, supporting New Bedford Performing Arts Center, sending people to us, telling us about community events to be involved in, providing mentorship even after the program ended, figuring out how we can get grants, to help our business, to help our visions. So it was just, I couldn't have asked for a better program or better guidance during that time. And I think they are a huge reason why I was able to revamp the program and figure out how I was going to come back from COVID. And I just feel like they're a huge reason of why we're at where we're at right now. And all of this is for free.
Yeah.
All of this is for free. That's absolutely I didn't even think that was heard of.
Yeah, such an amazing program. And a lot of creative entrepreneurs have gone through that program. So just to highlight E4All, we do have a local branch over at Groundwork in New Bedford. So if you're planning a creative enterprise or in the middle of one, they're a tremendous resource. I feel like they would have been a huge resource for you without COVID. What did you learn or gain from them that would have applied even if you hadn't been shut down or have to adapt your business for COVID?
Oh, definitely. They would help either way. And I think the biggest thing was, I'd say two major things. I have been a dance instructor since I was 15. I'm now 32 years old. So I have always been fully confident in my work and what I do for my students. And so that's been something that has never been questionable to me. But in opening a new business, I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know how to do books or accounting or, advertisement, social media presence. like I didn't know how to do all those things, and I didn't know how to manage my time so that I could do all those things, right? And still, be here teaching classes and building the programs. So all of that, those courses on all of those things, they helped me learn, okay, this is how I should be doing things. This is what is required in this area. This is what is required in this area. And so if you're an entrepreneur, or if you're somebody who just even has a vision of wanting to, open a business or run a business, like that program is completely going to help you learn how to run a business. You know what I'm saying? And the second thing is, and this was huge for me. This might have been the biggest thing for me. The second thing is the mentorship. And so the mentors pushed me out of my comfort zone, right? Because I'm a very humble person. I don't like to speak about my success or things that I've done. I'm the type of person that I feel like my work will speak for itself. Right. But, and so I was always confident in, once somebody comes through our doors, I'm confident in what I can do. Right. But how do we get people through the doors? And so my mentors pushed me to begin talking about myself. And I think a reason that I hate talking about myself is because even what I went through as a dancer, growing up as a dancer and not being confident in who I was. And I used to have judges at competitions. They would tell me like, oh, wow, we didn't expect you to be this good or to have this much training. Like, they were judging me off of the way I looked, right? And so I had it in my head to like, nothing was ever good enough, or I was never fully confident. And so the mentors begin to highlight all of the things that I have done as a dancer, all of the amazing things that I've done. And with that, they begin to make me speak about myself. I'm not make me, but push me, encourage me to speak about myself and talk about my why I do this, why I have this vision. But also, I've done this and I've had this type of training and I've had these types of experiences. And that is a good reason that you should look towards our studio as somewhere where you might want to enroll your child. So I think in saying this, between what I learned and between the mentorship that was provided to me, it pushed me out of my comfort zone. It pushed me to go further, and it pushed me towards more success.
This is such a huge point, because we have such a hard time really acknowledging what we've accomplished. And I don't think we realize that, it's not bragging, because the purpose of acknowledging your accomplishments is that it gives you credibility. I've done this, this, and this is why I can work with your kiddo and they can have fun in my classes and they can build, life skills out of being here, make friendships, because it gives other people confidence in you. So, it's not bragging. It's just people have to believe in what you're doing and what you're saying. And really, your accomplishments are one of the best ways you can get that across. Right.
That's correct.
Okay, I'd like to do a little time traveling, because you started dancing when you were 2. Can you take me through that? I was 2 years old. Did you know, even at that age, I want to dance all my life?
Yeah, no, I didn't know that at that age. So as soon as I was potty trained, I went into dance school, and I was at a dance school in New Bedford. And I guess I was there for a few years, and I guess early on they noticed something in me, because I remember them giving me like a solo to do at the recital when I was 5. And so after that, I moved to another studio, and even at that studio, I want to say maybe 8 years old, and I was the only 8-year-old dancing with my sister's age group, which was 18 years old. And so I guess, these instructors did see something in me. And because of that, I had been put on the competition team. I think I was 8 at the time. I had started competing, and we had gone to a competition and seen a very successful studio that was in Rhode Island. And my sister had told my mom, you need to take Neenah there. She needs to receive their training because she has the potential. And so from 9 years old to 18, I lived in New Bedford, but I danced in Rhode Island 5 days a week to receive a specific type of training. And in that time, I was a competitive dancer. I was on 2 United States dance teams. I've danced at, Magic Kingdom, Universal, for Fox News, Radio City Music Hall, Madison Square Garden. But then I've also was a part of the USA United States dance team, where we went to Germany, and I performed a solo in one of the categories, and I also performed a duet. And with both of those, we had won the silver cup. So that's when I want to say 15 years old. And, competing against 30 countries and winning the silver cup was a pretty big deal. You would have think that boosted my confidence, but I still questioned it. But either way, those types of experiences were unforgettable experiences. But even after that, like graduating high school, I moved right to New York. I started training at Broadway Dance Center with some amazing choreographers. And then into Atlanta, training amazing choreographers. I've just been blessed to do shows, do work as a dancer, and have these experiences where I have a lot of knowledge of the industry. And, dance, theater, performing arts, whatever it is, it can go so much further than a building. It can go so much further than the building. There's so much more out there for these kids to take part in. And that's what I want to show them. And me having that knowledge of what is out there and the things that I've done as a dancer, it gives them the opportunity where I can pass that on.
Was there anything specific that prompted you to think, I should open a school for this? Because I have these abilities and I can teach, but also there's something these kids are going to get out of it.
Yeah, I mean, I was a teacher for other studios, for over 10 years. And, I gained a lot of knowledge from the studio owners and what they were doing in their studios. And I knew how it helped me realize things that I wanted to do different. And so with that, like, I always knew I had the natural connection to kids, that I knew how to speak to them. I knew how to get through to them. But then I also had the training knowledge of, where I could really make them great athletes. Obviously, it's not just me, it's my overall team. We're all working our butts off to give these kids everything that they need. But yeah, I think, just seeing how other studio owners ran their business and like certain things that I wanted to do, where I wanted to be more community based. I wanted to do more than just dancing. I wanted to do, like I said, I wanted to do performing arts. I wanted to do theater. I wanted to do singing, but I also wanted to build connections with these kids and their parents to make them better people, to prepare them for the world, to build their confidence. There's so much mental health issues that the world is facing. It is so huge right now. And so, the relationship that I have with my students, how I'm able to connect with them and really focus on that, being strong-minded and being confident in who you are. And, also understanding the world's going to throw rocks at you. The world's, that's normal. We're all gonna get hit with some rocks, but it's how we handle the process. It's how we get back up. Like those types of things where I really wanted to like focus on these things with my students, and I wanted to have free range to do that without having to ask anyone's permission or anything. That's when I was like, okay, well, you're gonna have to have your own place and do your own thing.
And create your own culture.
Right.
What's next for MBPAC? What do you see in the future?
In the future, let's see. I see, I really wish we could buy that theater that is on Route 18.
Which one? Is that the Strand? I'm trying to think of which one that is.
Is it the Orpheum?
No, I think you're right. I think it's the Orpheum.
I really wish, because that is what I see, that I see, us having our own full performing arts theater. I see our programs growing. I see our kids being known in the community and encouraging other kids, and this being a safe space for kids to come, kids who are struggling, kids who are dealing with things at home. This just being a safe space for them. But I want it all. I want the theater. I want the gymnastics facility. I want the dance facility. I want the whole plaza.
Right on. And how amazing it would be to have a whole theater, like, also not having to worry about your venue. You could still go out and perform elsewhere, but having your own stage to work.
And that's huge.
I think the venue is one of our biggest issues. Just to rent a New Bedford public school costs hundreds, sometimes thousands for a weekend. It's really, really difficult to give that, performance to the parents, but also, meet the financial burden on us as well. It's really, really difficult. It would be incredible to have that and be able to open up more to the community, more to the people around us.
I mean, that speaks to what people don't see publicly, which is, I remember getting information on the performance at Keith Middle School, and you needed kids there, I think, at 11 a.m. for a 5 or 6 o'clock performance. So you're talking about an all-day thing, renting a middle school auditorium, and a very, very nice one at Keith Middle School. So, boy, I would love to see that happen. That would be amazing. I mean, I know you really want to see it happen, but I think creating that kind of space for youth, and not just youth, because you work with adults as well, but having that dedicated space along with class space would be just something else.
Yep. Yeah, we have an adult class as well. We try to do dance with them, fitness, hip hop, step, because it's open to males, it's open to females, but a lot of times our moms are in here and they're stressed out and they're working all the time, and it's a way for them to just release, have a good time, have fun around other parents. And the same thing, I work really hard on encouraging their self-esteem, their confidence, them to understand that they're more than just what they think they are. They're more than just a mom. They're more than just the work they do.
As a mom who takes that class, I have to say, it not only motivates me and gives me confidence, I think it shows me what my daughter actually, the amount of work she puts in. I think sometimes I see my child and I'm like, oh my goodness, she's incredible. But we really, like, behind the scenes, behind these doors, like the stretching, all the hard work, the memory it requires. These kids are so incredible. And now being able to be behind the scenes, watching all the work, not only that the children put in, but that Neenah and her team put in, and watching that finished product, you will see me most times crying on the side of the stage, because I see the hard work I've seen from the beginning to the end for kids who walk in. I can't do that. I can't do that. And now they're walking out on that stage, not only doing that, but exceeding all their expectations with a smile and confidence on their face.
That's beautiful. Is there anything else you want to talk about that we haven't touched on?
I'd like to say just being a parent in this program. I don't think I've spoken just how incredible that is. My daughter came here at 4 years old. She had never really done anything. She wanted to try something. Everybody's like, of course, like, try dance. She comes from a Portuguese culture, which dance is very important in our community. And we brought her here, and, for somebody who was so shy, so attached to me, had never been in school, preschool, nowhere. I mean, she walked through the door, waved to me, and grabbed Neenah's hand and just went. And I was like, wait, there should be tears. Like, no. Like, I'm traumatized. I got to sit there. I got to watch her through that window. And the minute she walked out of the room and she jumped up and down, I was like, Mommy, I did it. I did it. It was something so tiny, but like, it was her first time really like just being proud of herself and being proud of something she accomplished. We started to come every week, and I just noticed how open she became, how much more vocal she became just with music, with her speaking, how much not only this community engaged her in dance, but actually engaged her in literacy and wanting to like speak more and be more independent of herself.
And be a leader.
I have to say, for somebody like me who grew up very shy, I grew up in a Portuguese community where being sometimes quiet and polite is always the way to go. My daughter is nothing like that. If you have met Kennedy, you know exactly what I mean. She is strong. She is powerful. She sticks up for others. She believes that everybody has a voice. She believes everyone should be included. And she makes it known. If there's an issue at school, someone bullies another person, she stands up and says something. And when I look at where does she get all this confidence from, it really is from dance. She's learning this culture here where no one is left behind, no one is left out. Everyone is part of this family, and she's taking it everywhere she goes. When she's at, we just recently tried T-ball because I want her to do a little bit more, try everything and not only say she spent all her time here. She loved it. Her favorite part was cheering for other people. And she built the same community of NBPAC in that dugout, cheering for other people, making up dances on the sidelines for them. Like, I just love that this really affects who she is as a person.
And that's what she brings to her communities too. Mm-hmm. That comes back to the kind of culture that the two of you and the team there have built. The kids are bringing that out into the other places in their lives. It's amazing.
It really takes a village to raise children, and we really want to be a part of that village. When our kids are in the waiting room, we have a homework group. Not many students have a homework group. All our kids pull out their computers. If they need help, we have older teens that come down after they're done with their classes, their help. Our babies take out their homework, and our middle school kids are helping them. We have a group of kids, I want to say 14 as of right now, that are all straight A students.
Nice.
We really, really strive to care about these kids beyond these walls here.
Amazing. I'm so happy my daughter goes to NBPAC. I hope, continued success for the whole program and eventually getting that theater. That's the dream.
Yes, definitely.
I want to ask a couple of general questions. I tend to do variations of this with the musicians I talk to. Who are your dance heroes?
It's a tough one. Go ahead.
But it may be more of a Neenah question. I don't know.
Yeah, I'll answer.
Chris Brown.
As an entertainer, Chris Brown is one of my dance heroes. He followed Michael Jackson, and that was his inspiration. And so I feel like Michael is like everyone knows Michael and everyone knows his dancing, but Chris Brown as an entertainer, the way he performs, the way it's as somebody that is at his caliber and where he's at as a famous person and entertainer, the respect he has for his dancers, the people that are behind him making his show look amazing, that really gets me. And the athleticism that he has and puts into his work. Every time he comes to this area, I go to see his concert, mainly for the entertainment aspect. It's, I love the music as well, but the overall show he puts in, and he puts in just as much work as his performers, as his dancers. So that's really someone, I'm always amazed by what he does and the work that he does. And one of my other dance heroes, recently passed away due to some mental health issues, and that was Twitch. I'm sure, the world has heard about him, and he was the DJ on Ellen DeGeneres. But he reminded me, in all the years that I learned about him, he reminded me a lot of myself, because his work ethic was unmatched. What he did, but like the energy that he gave to people and the energy that he put into people, into making them feel good, into making them feel positive about themselves. He recently passed, and if you just looked on the internet, he was everywhere and everyone was speaking about him, how good of a person he was. And he had just inspired me since even before he was on So You Think You Can Dance. He went on So You Think You Can Dance as a hip hop dancer, but obviously he had to do all genres of dance, ballroom, contemporary, and I felt like he killed every one of them. So I've watched his journey for some time, and he was as good of a dancer as he was just as amazing as a person. And, I really admired that about him.
What's one record each of you would take to a desert island? Like one CD or album?
Chris Brown.
Okay, that was quick, but decisive.
By far the hardest question I've ever been asked.
It's always a toughie, because how do you choose one?
So I listen to very different types of music.
I do too. I mean, I'm a dance instructor, and we do all genres. So, I mean, I love a little bit of everything, but I just love Chris Brown. That's right.
Oh my goodness. This is the hard one.
Meghan Trainor?
Maybe I'd have to say, we go
all right.
Meghan Trainor.
Meghan
Trainor or Adele, depending on the day.
Adele.
Are we happy or are we sad?
Are we stranded on the island?
Are we stranded and we're sad about it? Because then Adele. If we're excited and we're going to be pumped up and they're going to rescue us, definitely Meghan Trainor is going to be there.
I'm going to say you guys are going to be happy on the island. It's a happy island.
All right.
Last question. What is your South Coast happy place?
Oh, easy. The beach. I think I drive by there every day.
East or west, though?
Ooh, so I start at west and I go around. But I have to say the pavilion, the spot near the pavilion is one of my favorites. I love the way the sun just sets there. And
so I'm similar. I find peace around water, and so that's any beach is honestly definitely a favorite of mine. But another thing I will say is this downtown area.
Oh yeah.
I love the way it's up and coming. I love the way I'm seeing more and more small businesses over here. The small businesses succeeding, people in this New Bedford community, just doing something great and building something great down here.
Incredible food.
Great food.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Every time we bring someone or we have a meeting, they're like, oh, what is this? And they just, every time we go to a different restaurant, they're like, it really gets better down here. I'm like, yes, we have more. Like, we don't have to keep going to the same, like there are so many different types of restaurants down here.
It's amazing. Yeah. I mean, it's really up and coming. I mean, it's pretty far along. It's been amazing to see that development just in the 4.5 years I've been here. I walk downtown every time I drop my daughter off. I just do a loop of downtown a couple of times while she's dancing.
There you go.
Yeah.
It's like a nice highlight. Just, visit all those places.
Always find somewhere new.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Neenah, Crystal, thank you so much. I wish continued success to MB Pack, and let's get that theater.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for joining us for another In Focus podcast, which is generously sponsored in part by Heavenly Spirits Importers and funded in part with grants from the New Bedford Cultural Council and the Fairhaven Cultural Council, local agencies supported by the Mass Cultural Council, a state agency. I'm Scott Bishop, and thanks for listening to the Artists Index.